Ousman Rambo Jatta speaks to me exclusively. Hello there, my name is Lamin Jai, and this is the nation today. Also on tonight, new MPs take their oath. We have that report for you, but also how Fabakary Tombong Jatta intends to be fair as he bounces back in Parliament, this time as Speaker. We have that also for you, but also GRS or CS, that is the Gambia Red Cross Society, commences disbursement of cash to internally displaced persons in Fonyi. We have that report for you also, but also Taiba Charity Center donates over 300 meals in the West Coast region. We also have, it's been, the Gambians have been marking or remembering Ibrahim Solo Sandeng this April 14, that was yesterday, marked 6 years since his death there. His foundation is remembering him. We have that also, but also Gambia Armed Forces Football Club boosted with sports materials. Before all of this, so now, we'll begin with my take for tonight. Yesterday, April 14, 2022, marked 6 years since the death of political activist Ibrahim Solo Sandeng. On April 14, 2016, Mr. Sandeng led a group of UDP supporters who gathered at Westfield to call for electoral reform. Security forces cracked down on and orders. He was allegedly tortured to death. Now, 6 years since his death, his famine, but since his case is still in court, I will not go into his case. Instead, I want to talk about the significance of the day this man was arrested. I had met Solo 2 weeks earlier at the inter-party press conference. We closed from school 2 weeks later and told me there were some people protesting at Westfield and that he had people mentioning one man's name. I suspected that it was him. My suspicion later turned out to be true. This day has gone down in history as the day Gambians made up their minds to end Jammeh's dictatorship. Solo's action inspired a distressed nation into an angry one Gambia furnace that burned a man who thought he could rule for 1 billion years. May Allah bless his soul. We should appreciate this day as it is the day that officially marked the beginning of our journey to freedom at last. That will be it for my take tonight. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we bring you current affairs. Welcome back. So yesterday, members of the country's National Assembly, that is the new MPs, took their oath of office after getting elected into the Assembly by Gambians. Last weekend, Gambians went out to vote for their new representatives, 53 of them. Yesterday, they took their oath. More in this report.
The swearing-in ceremony of the 58 members of Parliament on Thursday marks the beginning of the second ordinary session in the 2022 legislative year. During the event, President Barrow's 5 nominated members were duly elected by members of the Parliament. Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, who served as a majority leader during ex-President Jammeh's era, has been duly nominated as the Speaker.
Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, having been nominated as member of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia, do hereby swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of the Gambia as by law established, that I shall execute the functions of member of the National Assembly without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. So help me God.
Honorable C.D.S. Njai of NPP has also been duly nominated as the Deputy Speaker of the 6th Legislature. The other 3 nominated members are Honorable Kebalang Fofana, Honorable Fatimata K. Jawara, who served as the former member for Talinding, and Honorable Maimuna Sise Darboe. However, following the nomination of C.D. Njai as the Deputy Speaker by Sirif Sar, member for Josuang, and seconded by Amadou Kamara of Nyanija, the member for Birkama North, Alhaji S. Darboe, raised a motion to nominate Lang Fofana as as Deputy Speaker. The motion was seconded by Madike Cisse of Serekunda West, but Lang Fofana declined the proposal when asked by the Chief Justice. Following his oath of office, the new Speaker of the Assembly, Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, promised to follow his predecessor's footsteps in creating a vibrant and democratic assembly.
I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I shall successfully travel the path pursued by various speakers before me and my immediate predecessor, the legal luminary, Right Honorable Mariam Jack Denton, to make the National Assembly a more vibrant and democratic legislature responsive to the needs and aspirations of the Gambian people.
He also advised members of the National Assembly to serve in the interest of the nation by presenting matters of national interest raised by the Vice President of the Gambia, Cabinet Ministers, government officials, families and supporters of the newly sworn-in members. Mariam Adem reporting for Star TV News.
Now, new Speaker Fabakary Tombong Jatta is assuring all members of the National Assembly that he intends to be fair to everyone and is also seeking their understanding. He was speaking in his inaugural speech yesterday, April 14th, 2022, at Parliament, after he was sworn in as the country's new Speaker. Mariam Dem reports again.
Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, who served as a majority leader during ex-President Jammeh's era, was among President Barrow's 5 nominated members and has been duly elected as the Speaker of the 6th Legislature.
I thank you all for the trust and confidence reposed in me by electing me Speaker of the National Assembly. Equally, I congratulate you all for your election as members of the National Assembly, representing your various constituencies and the Gambia as a whole.
As he promised to be fair as the Speaker of the House, Honorable Jatta urged members to present current issues in the Assembly for discussion and apply the question time well.
As presiding officer, I intend to be fair to all and therefore seek your understanding in advance. I encourage new entrants to prepare and present statements on matters of the day and apply the question time well. Your brilliant visibility will affect your re-election. I will meet with leadership on this and seek the support of the Office of the Clerk to help you deliver. A comprehensive induction process is vital for collective improved performance.
Jatta, who feels honored to be nominated and elected as Speaker of the Assembly, says his presence comes with an outstanding responsibility.
I see my presence here as a homecoming, albeit with a greater responsibility. I am grateful to all who reposed resounding trust in me to make this possible. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I shall successfully travel the path pursued by various speakers before me and my immediate predecessor, the legal luminary, Right Honorable Mariam Jack Denton, to make the National Assembly a more vibrant and democratic legislature responsive to the needs and aspirations of the Gambian people.
He also reminded the new members of the high procedural nature of the National Assembly and called for an outstanding commitment to the rules and procedures of the House.
I need to remind the new members that the highly procedural nature of the National Assembly calls for an equally high level of commitment to the rules and procedures of the institution. Serious learning will therefore have to be undertaken to sharpen our competencies in order to enable all of us function effectively and efficiently.
Tombong Jatta thanked the President for nominating him and the members for trusting him as the Speaker of the Assembly. He advised members to serve in the interests of the country.
I wish to congratulate all of you, honorable members, for winning your seats. It is a unique opportunity to serve our dear nation. I therefore look forward to maximizing the opportunities for every member to contribute. While I acknowledge that we are all elected or nominated from various political parties and come from various constituencies, I implore all of us at all times to be guided by the supreme interests of our beloved motherland in dealing with matters that are tabled before us.
The sixth legislature, he echoed, is for the people of the Gambia, and they want an honest, accountable and responsive parliament. Mariam Adem report.
Now, the Gambia Red Cross Society yesterday commenced the disbursement of cash to internally displaced persons and host families in Foni. 932 households. Each family will receive a cash amount of $5,250. The Gambia Red Cross Society also launched an additional draft extension in March to aid for food and basic needs of the affected population. Hade M. Jaju reports.
This cash disbursement program seeks to provide unrestricted subsidiary food assistance to the affected families. The recent renewed fighting between the MFDC and the Senegalese troops along the Gambia-Casamance border opened several lines of humanitarian challenges in the area as settlements struggle to deal with refugees and IDPs influx. The Director of Programs and Cooperation, Gambia Red Cross Society, Abdoulaye Faye, talked about the responsibilities of the Gambia Red Cross Society in terms of humanitarian disasters.
We have more than 48 communities because we have some people who are from Senegal and we have some people who are in the Gambia. So more than 48 different communities are affected and we are supporting them. And we are supporting almost 932 households. And each of these 932 households is a combination of either the refugees or the asylum seekers based on the context you are looking at, the internal displaced households. We are also looking at the host families, the ones who have hosted some of these people because of they need to support them to survive and all those things. So for this intervention, we are supporting all of them, and each of them is receiving $5,248. But because of the change of the small coins, the service provider, which is Q Money, decided to round it up to $5,250. So each of them these households are receiving $5,250.
Faye further said that more than 48 communities in the Foni are affected by the clash, and they are also provided with non-food items and health facilities as well.
Yeah, we are even giving them hygiene, hygiene kits, dignity kits for women and the young girls. We are also giving like the displaced persons kitchen sets where they can able to have their privacy to cook for themselves and their families to eat, even though they are hosted or they are not hosted wherever they are. So, and all these things, is to see that these people have a good living. We are even supporting them with mosquito nets to avoid them having malaria. We also have deployed an ambulance here to look for the ones that are not feeling well, to refer them to Buyam Hospital, or even give them some treatment on the ground.
Mr. Faye lamented some of the challenges they are facing in the field.
No, we don't have any major challenges, though sometimes, when it comes to, like, for example, the cash transfer, the few challenges sometimes that you may have is after the financial service provider transferring these funds to the beneficiaries, some of them may not be able to read text message, and that's why they are called. A follow-up call is made to inform them, or some of them may see the message and say, these are just, they are fooling us, they delete it, or some of them, before reaching them, it becomes difficult, maybe their phones are not charged and so on, but that doesn't mean that you will lose the money. We will continue to follow you until a particular time where we need to totally close the phones and we cannot trace you anymore, then we can return the funds.
Ami Bojang, a refugee and also a beneficiary, said since they flew to the country, they did not face any difficulties as they are receiving support from the Gambia Red Cross Society and community members.
I am very happy and thankful to Allah for sending these people to come to our aid after living in our homes to seek asylum in the Gambia, because they have been providing food items and cash to us. I would like to thank them for their kind gesture, and Allah will continue to bless them for their good deeds.
A resident of Mayok village, Yahya also thanked the Gambia Red Cross Society for their timely intervention. Reported for Star TV News, I am Hadi M. Jaju.
Now, Taiba Charity Center has distributed food items totaling more than 300 packages to the people of West Coast region. This presentation of these food items took place on Tuesday. More in this report by Modu El Jajo.
Established in 2010, Taiba Charitable Foundation has over the years continued to support the less privileged families, orphans, and healthcare supply to the sick. However, the charity center and its Qatar-based partner have supported communities of all Yundum with over 300 food meals. The gesture is part of King Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum global initiative to provide 100 million meals. Speaking at the presentation, the organization's public relations officer, Jammeh, said Taiba Charity Center is aimed at propelling government's effort by aiding the less privileged in various aspects. Piero Jammeh applauded the efforts of Haruna M. Kamara, who he described as a patriotic citizen.
Haruna M. Kamara, Taiba Charity Center is an organization that is formed since 2010, and we normally engage into so many development activities just to complement government effort, because all the development that we are doing or what that we have done already is just geared towards complementing the general effort of the government, because in the area of health we intervene in health, religion, livelihood. In fact, we give a medical fund for people with kidney problem, for them to take care of their dialysis programs and activities. So for that being the case, we want to recognize who are here, the beneficiaries and the people of Yundum, and also to thank our staff, the staff of Taiba Charity Center, for the wonderful work, and the media team present here. And also want to acknowledge and recognize the effort of our able president, who is Haruna M. Kamara, because he is a patriot and he is a good citizen, because through the contact that he had in the diaspora.
The Chief Executive Officer of Taiba Charity Center, Haruna M. Kamara, extended gratitude to the King of Qatar and his partners, Darul Bir.
The food items are dedicated to women who struggle to make ends meet in their households. That is why we decided to reinforce them with food supply in this holy month of Ramadan, because the challenges women endure cannot be overemphasized.
Jariatu Jobate is one of the beneficiaries. She thanked the benefactors for the gesture, adding that this is timely, considering the skyrocketing of consumable commodities in the world market.
We suffer a lot before putting food on the table as women, but thanks to Taiba Charity Center, we are grateful to them and their partners.
Cooking oil, 25 kilos bag of rice, and a bag of onion were given to 300 people, most of whom were women. The donated items will, however, go a long way in feeding those benefited. For Star TV, I am Modu El Baji.
Now, the Solo Sandeng Foundation on Thursday remembered Solo Sandeng 6 years after his torture and disappearance on April 14, 2016. The theme for this year's commemoration is implementing the TRRC recommendation, a recipe to discouraging police brutality. Our Sane reports.
The Solo Sandeng Foundation was founded on April 14, 2017 and aimed to propagate and continue the legacy of the late Solo Sandeng. Solo was voluntarily engaged in both social and political matters. Mohammed Sandeng, the son of the deceased, said the foundation has been active in the transitional justice process since its inception when it comes to the area of sensitization and advocating for the welfare of many of those victims who were part of the April 14th incident. Mr. Emmanuel Juve, the president of the National Human Rights Commission, assured the public that such inhuman acts will never happen in this country again, adding that the capacity building initiatives were organized for the police and prison services through the assistance of development partners and National Human Rights Commission. The training was geared towards the work of the police and human rights. Mr. Juve disclosed that the NHRC has assisted the police to come up with a code of conduct in the way it does its work, adding that the police are supposed to carry out their duty in accordance with the law and due process. Meanwhile, he advised that citizens also have responsibilities to keep the peace and to be law-abiding in creating a better society. Via Zoom, Fatoumata Sandeng also gives a little speech about her late father and all the victims of the 2016 April incident. The meeting was organized together with civil society organizations to discuss the way forward in implementing the TRRC recommendations on security sector reform. For Star TV News.
And now, Gambia's goodwill ambassador and former international footballer Tijan Jatta on Wednesday presented varieties of sports items to the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces at the Defense Headquarters in Banjul. The donated items include different versions of football jerseys, socks, and footballs, among others. Modu El Baji attended the ceremony, and he came through.
During his remarks, Ambassador Jatta described the presentation as the benchmark of his partnership with the Gambia Armed Forces. The former Gambian international reflected when he was training with the Armed Forces football team, the Khaki Boys. He considered himself as a soldier.
And it has been a privilege since when I was playing football. I always feel that I'm a soldier, because in my mind I play like a soldier, because I like the attitude of the soldier, because every time you do things, to the best of your abilities. So that have really motivated me. Even now, even when I'm taking a picture, even my wife tells me, "Oh, you are standing like a soldier." Yes.
The Chief of Defense Staff, Yakuba A. Jammeh, welcomed the gesture and revealed that sports is an important factor when it comes to uniting people, irrespective of their background and affiliations. He noted that sports has over the years played a crucial role in cementing civil-military relations.
With our brothers and sisters also uniform. And one way we do that, we participate in sporting activities. We have a football team, male and female. We have volleyball team, male and female. The Mayday, when it comes to supporting the Gambian Force, is a household name. We've won it many times. Occasionally others have won it, but that's the spirit. If you want to be winning all the time, for others are not winning, then we are going to defeat the purpose. The purpose is to have an enhanced relationship. In achieving that, there is a need to exchange the baton at some stage. You cannot be in charge of the baton all through, meaning you're going to discourage others to participate. Having said that, personally, I'm really touched in the context, it's quite some impressive gesture on your side.
Lieutenant Colonel Musa Jammeh, speaking on behalf of the board governing the Gambia Armed Forces football team, noted that the donation will go a long way in boosting the morals of the players. He thanked Ambassador Jatta for the gesture.
Because after having a first-hand information or knowledge of how things are on the ground in terms of the Armed Forces team, he knew that he could play a part, especially in the logistics part of the team. And since then, Ambassador Jatta has assisted the Gambia Armed Forces by providing quality sporting materials to the team. I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, he brought some quality umbro material, of course procured at a very discounted rate.
Ambassador Tijan Jatta is the country's representative for Umbro South Africa. Over the years, Jatta has extended his goodwill to other institutions in the country, which include cabinet members. However, the donated sports wares include 24 footballs, 4 sets of jerseys, and among others. For Star TV, I am Modu El Baji.
President Barrow has
you very much. Welcome back. So tonight on the program, big guest, big interview. First Deputy Interim Leader or Leader of the APRC, Ousman Rambo Jatta. He's my guest for tonight. Mr. Jatta, thank you very much for joining me on my show tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lamin. I'm most honored to be here today.
Very well. Let's begin.
Yes.
Your party, the APRC, is it regressing? I'm asking you this because this is a party that has been able to get a lot of seats in parliament when former President Yahya Jammeh was here. 2017, you managed only 5. 2022, just 2.
Okay. That was a very good question. Assalamu alaikum, viewers and listeners. Lamin, actually, we are not regretting anything so far. We have not regretted anything in losing all those 5 seats in Fonyi.
But what went wrong in Fonyi? Some of the most respected APRC leaders come from Fonyi. Musa Amul Nyasi. These are well-respected APRC leaders. Yet they went to election and the people of Fonyi rejected them.
Yes, a lot of factors is involved into what is causing this fracas in Fonyi. First, we had a problem internal problem in the party that splitted the party, and that was caused by former President Yahya Jammeh himself. And then we have this recent fighting between MFDC and the Senegalese soldiers, and this economic, or whether they were economic or Senegalese soldiers is yet to be verified. The one stationed in Biam is also a problem in Fonyi. And also the military camp that was built at President Jammeh's hometown of home village of Kanila was also a problem. But to be honest with you, we've been trying at our level best to see how best we can, not exactly move, but transfer the military base at Woni, is President Jammeh's hometown, home village. But you know, this is not something that you can just get up and do. We're talking about security. We're talking about military. We are not in that field. The only thing we can do is to forward our concern to the authorities, more specifically the head of state, who is the principal. And thank God some steps were taken. Like I told you, it cannot be done in a rush. It has to be done gradually. And also the economic or Senegalese soldier station at Biam, at the checkpoint, is a big concern. That one we have also take up with the government. But like I said, we are not in power. We are only supporting a government. And then whatever we want from them has to be taken with patience. We have to be very patient.
So are you saying these are the things or some of the things that made you lose
They are contributing factors. But our main problem as to why we lose, I have to be very bold and frank.
Exactly.
It's tribalism. Tribalism played a part.
So when you say tribalism, what do you exactly mean?
We have some elements mainly in the diaspora. And the leadership of this unregistered, breakaway unregistered group, Tamba, Lamin Tamba, you have Forechor, Jerending Sanyang, Abdou Jaju, Bakar Saibo Sane. These people never appreciate the leadership of Honorable Fabakar Chombong Jatta. This brought the split in APRC. We have been undermined from the onset. And I think the undermining started somewhere around 2018, 2019, when the party started to stand on its feet, because the party was crawling from 2017. So we fight tooth and nail to make sure the party survives. APRC cannot just die down like that. We did what we could. At least we were able to save the party. Then these people, they came with this notion that Fabakar Chombong Jatta is a Mandinka, Rambo Jatta is a Mandinka, blah, blah, which I don't understand. I don't see what tribe has to do with politics. But when the going was tough, we were still Mandinka, and we were appreciated. We were the savior. Whenever there is a problem in Fonyi, they say, oh, call Fabakari. Whatever happens, they said, what is Fabakari saying? But in the end, it wasn't like that. Okay, I think we will come to that in the later part of the program.
Yes, but then okay, now you have lost the entire Fonyi.
Yes.
You managed to get only.
No, we haven't lost the entire Fonyi.
Because where do you have?
We put up candidates and then they voted for them, so we haven't lost the whole or the entire Fonyi.
You still have support there?
Oh yes, we have support there. So and remember, we also had challenges during the election because in certain places we understand that NPP brought up candidates against our candidate, so that has also given us a setback. You can go to the results and see the difference between the APRC and the independents. If those were together, definitely we would have won.
So the issue of the internal dispute in your party, you have the no alliance, so-called no alliance movement of Yahya Tamba. They won, and they are saying that this has vindicated them. It has gone to prove that they are the real APRC, that they have reduced you people to skeleton, that they are the real APRC. You are just hanging on to their name, that is the real name, their color, the party logo, and then the stamp.
Okay, that's a good one. But unfortunately, if Yahya Tamba is to claim his group as the legitimate APRC executive, I think he's misleading his people. I believe the reason why Yahya Tamba or the NAM won in the whole of Fonyi is the promise they gave him that they will bring Yahya Jammeh back, which I don't see in the near future.
Why?
Not with 5 NAMs in the assembly. Remember, we're having a TRRC report that is supposed to come out with a white paper in May, I believe. And this is just my personal opinion. Okay, if even whereas the president said, now, I have pardoned former President Jammeh, it cannot just stop there. It has to go to the assembly for the MPs to consent to it. And most likely they will be voting. So if that voting is to take place, now, we have the majority, yes. But if I thought that bill is pushed by the NAM group, they are nowhere. So let's not fool ourselves. That was, they mislead the people with that pronouncement that they can bring Yahya Jammeh back. It's a lie. It's not true. They cannot do it. We've been trying since 2017. And we are more connected to this government than they are. And I heard some of their MPs already saying that they're not going to work with the government. Then what kind of people have they voted for in office? If an MP is standing in public and saying that I cannot work with the government, then what do you hope to achieve? It doesn't make sense.
Yet they are out to take this party from you. I brought Pamudumbo here. They are saying that they are going to court, but they're also going to do other things which he refused to say.
Okay.
He said they are going to do this as a way of taking or wresting APRC from your hands.
Okay. Let them not just stop at court. Let them go to Planet Mars. Let them go to any court they want. But we are not handing over this party to opportunists. I think you just mentioned Pamudumbo. He's a nonentity. He has no base. He has no influence in this country when it comes to politics. So Pamudumbo is a minus. Yeah, Tamba is a minus. Because now, let's reflect back to the presidential election. All these people you are talking about, they all come from constituencies. But we beat them in all their constituencies.
You said they have no base,
yeah.
Yet they have Yahya Jammeh, and Yahya Jammeh has people that love him so much.
Yes.
They are the ones who have Yahya Jammeh that carries a lot of weight.
That depends on what they've told him, what they've lied to him. Because we were talking with Yahya Jammeh. He told us a lot about these very people he is dining with. So let me just stop there for now.
In fact, what changed? You used to speak to former President Yahya
used to.
You were close to him, and all of a sudden,
yes. The problem is
the two of you fell out.
Yes, he dragged us into this coalition thing.
He
asked us to go into talks with President Barrow for a possible alliance. He started it. Yahya Jammeh started it. We did not start it on our own.
So what exactly did he tell you to do in terms of instruction?
No. Let me just be clear. Let me just clarify where or how it all started.
Yes.
One day I was at my house and I received a call from him through WhatsApp. And then he told me, where is your boss? I said, I believe he's home in Tallinn. He said, okay, call him. And he gave me time that my party leader should come to my place in Bakau because he wanted to talk to us. So I called my party leader. He came. And then this was around after Isha prayer. So I called him back. I said, yeah, my boss is here. He said, put the phone on speaker. I put the phone on speaker. Then they agreed, because my party leader does most of the talking, although I'm a witness to the conversation because it's on speaker. So when that happens, then President Jammeh asked him, haven't you seen the guy President Barrow has sent to you? Party leader told him, no, it's news it is news we're hearing from you. But nobody told us that President Barrow has sent somebody to us. And then he said, okay. Then they conversed, and then the conversation was over. Some days later, my party leader called me. He told me, call your boss, tell him I want to talk to him. So I called him, we fixed an appointment, and party leader came back to my house again. And then we called him, and I was present also at that conversation. So party leader told him that the guy you were talking about came finally.
Who was that guy?
No, I don't know. It's only the party leader who can answer that question. So he told him that this guy...
That guy came from President Barrow?
President Barrow, yes. So he met my party leader, they discussed. Then that was the report or the feedback my boss want to give back to President Jammeh. So he told him that the man came, and then President Barrow want us to talk. He want us to possibly form an alliance. President Jammeh told him, but no, it will not start from there. He asked Uncle Fabakary, don't you have interest? Uncle Fabakary told him, yes. He said, what is your interest? He said, our vehicles, our bank accounts, and so on. Then President Jammeh told him, then start with that. And then you can come to this one you are talking about. That is the forming of an alliance. So that's where we started. So Uncle Tombong went back to President Barrow and told him what is about to happen. So now President Barrow told him that now, me and you, we cannot do this. Now let us each select a 5-man committee. President Barrow selected 5 people, Uncle Tombong selected 5 people, of which I was the chairman. And then not only for my party, but both parties, I became the chair of the committee. That's what we call the negotiation committee. So then we start to talk. It was stiff. Sometimes we'll go and then have a break.
Where were you having your meetings?
That is a secret.
You are not saying that?
No, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But what do you say to the claim or the suggestion from the other faction, the no-alliance
that we sold people, the party?
Not so selling the party, that in fact you were never speaking to Jammeh. These are all things that you cooked up, that you came up with.
Okay.
You never spoke to Jammeh. Jammeh never gave you the instruction, the green light to bromance with Barrow.
Actually, if you ask me, and if I am to be honest with you in my response, the biggest regret in my life right now is why I was not recording those conversations with President Jammeh. That is the biggest regret of my life. Had it been that I had a single record, President Jammeh will never talk. He will never call from Equatorial Guinea and talk about Gambian politics. Because then I will prove his inconsistency. He's very inconsistent. He can say this, he can call this table brown, tomorrow he can say it's white, whilst it's still brown. He is that kind of person. He has done that a lot of times. So that is the biggest regret I have in my life. Why those conversations were not recorded. We are not in a hurry to get rich. No. We don't take any money from President Barrow to go into this alliance.
And then the no-alliance people, they are standing their ground, saying that you people are not telling the truth. You never spoke to Jammeh. Jammeh never gave you the green light. So in terms of the former president, and you are saying that he is very inconsistent, and all of a sudden Jammeh appears and says, these are a bunch of traitors. I never gave them this instruction. Go and take my party from them.
Okay. I believe you could remember when we were about to do the demonstration that we held at Sukuta Jabang traffic light.
2019, I remember.
We spoke with him. That conversation was recorded, right?
I remember that. I listened to that conversation.
Yes. And since then we were communicating with Jammeh until when he decided to give his back. And do you know when he did that? At one time in 2020, January 2020, that was the last time we spoke with him.
If you want, you can lower your mic down a little.
That was the last time we spoke with him. And then my party leader told me to call him because by then it is election year. It's 2021, yes. It was election year. So party leader came as usual to my place. Then we start to converse with him. We told him, now, we are in an election year. What is our fate? That was far before we even think of signing an alliance with Barrow. Because the negotiation have started, yes, but like I said, we have breakups. So he told Fabakary, anyway, you go and toil your land, and I'll toil my land. Whatever we have, at the end of the day, we bring it on the table. We went to our farm, we toil it, we have 10 vehicles from Barrow and 3 million. So that is what we want to report back to President Jammeh. That's when he refused to pick our calls.
What went wrong? What happened? Was it because, why did Jammeh all of a sudden change and never wanted to speak to you?
We are yet to know, and we will be very interested to have an answer from him whenever we see him personally. We want to know where we have offended him.
Are you people traitors? Did you sell this party?
Actually, you and me, we live in the Gambia, so if I'm a traitor, you should be able to know by now. So if it is coming from Jammeh, Jammeh is not Allah, he's not Malaika or whatsoever. He's a human being like you. He's entitled to his opinion. So if he thinks that we are a traitor, that's President Jammeh. But for me, I know, me Rambo Jatta, that I'm not a traitor. Right Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta is not a traitor.
And then you went ahead, you did not hear from him, you went ahead to enter into this alliance with the National People's Party. And one thing that featured prominently is the issue of his return. Jammeh was not speaking to you, yet you were pushing his agenda, his interest in that deal, in that negotiation.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's very funny if people have to assume like that, but I can guarantee you that in our conversations, Jammeh's return was very key. It was a non-negotiable agenda.
It was always there.
It was always there. He knew it. Like I told you, the man is very inconsistent. When he backs out for good. No matter what you've agreed, he doesn't care. He has done that to a lot of people in this country.
Are you still committed to his return?
We made a promise, and we are Jattas, he is Jammeh, so we'll never betray him. We'll never let him down. We'll do our best.
Despite him
calling us traitors,
betraying you, and calling you traitors.
That will show you that we are better than him. Let him insult and do whatever, but we'll stand our ground that we want to see him back home safely. We'll pursue that. We'll never give up.
Now, I mean, election came, well, we started with the parliamentary election, but in the presidential election, President Barrow ended up winning. We have the parliamentary election. APRC played a key part in President Barrow's re-election. And then the parliamentary election came and it has gone. You sought for the seats as a partnership, as a coalition. And then, I mean, this appointment of your leader as speaker sparked controversy in some quarters. Fabakary Tombong Jatta. You have people who say, this is the man who played a key part in the political impasse of 2016, the state of emergency. The president has no heart. Why would he do this? What is your response to some of these things?
That's a good question. First, let us rewind back to 2017 when Abdoulaye Bojang was appointed ambassador by Ousianou Darboe. By then, my party leader was the majority leader in the parliament, but the speaker was Abdoulaye Bojang. In those days, it was okay, it wasn't a problem. So why should Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta's appointment be a problem? What has he done? He was just doing his job for his party.
And the claims are coming from the same
UDP
party, the same party.
No one, it's UDP. I'll name them. I'm not scared of them. It's UDP. They are very problematic.
What do you mean by that?
Even if you bring a prophet, they will go against him. That is UDP. It's typical. That's how they are. You can never change that.
But I also saying that they are inconsistent. 2017, they have Abdoulaye Bojang, who was the speaker when the state of emergency thing was being
yes, and then he was appointed ambassador to South Africa. He was Speaker of the House, but my party was only a majority leader in the House. So what? What is the difference? What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
And they also made a fuss about his deputy too, Sidi Njai.
What has Sidi done? Only to say that President Barrow will not be sworn in. I think that is left of President Barrow. That is none of their business. That should worry President Barrow, but not UDP.
How about,
but
how about the argument that they played a key part in putting the lives of Gambians at risk by saying the former president will not step down?
Yeah, that was based on what we were experiencing in those days. To be honest with you, I still stand my ground that the 2016 election was rigged.
It was stolen?
Yes, it was well planned by a lot of people. A lot.
How was it stolen?
We cannot escape that betrayal. It was bigger than us.
Are you saying President Barrow stole the 2026
Not
election?
President Barrow. He was only a candidate. They were game players. He was only a candidate. They just want to make sure he wins. He was sacrificed. President Barrow was sacrificed in 2016.
So who stole this election? The
coalition.
2016
coalition, yes. It was in.
But President Barrow was part of that. So how can you remove President Barrow from
I am
that?
not removing him. I am including everybody. That election was rigged. We stand our ground that it was not a free and fair election. It was rigged.
So what exactly happened?
How can you announce two results in an election? Normally, what do? It has recently happened in Kenya. What did they do? They went back to the polls. And President Jammeh said, now, let's go to the Supreme Court. They said, no. Then what are you hiding? Something was wrong somewhere.
Well, there was no Supreme Court. President Jammeh had fired all the Supreme Court justices.
No,
so he was
but it was arranged. It was
He was scrambling to get justices to come and...
No, it was arranged for them to be here. And it was okay. But then the propaganda started again by those very presidents who came to negotiate. Because I believe it was Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ghana, I believe, is where these judges are supposed to come from. Their presidents were here. And it was okay because you had the audio conversation between President Jammeh and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. They were supposed to be here. But no, at that time, Gambians want to see President Jammeh go. That's all they needed. So finally, he has to succumb to whatever.
You have UDP. They were the biggest opponents of the President Adam Barrow in the 2021 December election. You were part of the President's coalition.
Yes.
They saw that election as a done deal, a foregone conclusion that they were winning. All of a sudden, this dramatic result came out, and then the first thing we heard from the UDP is that this election was stolen. They registered voters, foreigners.
Yeah. They said we registered foreigners.
They said foreigners were registered by the IEC.
It's good that you fast forward to 2021, simply because UDP were ferrying their crowds all over the country. I was UDP for almost 17 years. I was a very prominent figure. When I was living in UDP, I was the National Youth President. Solo Sandeng was my secretary, the late Solo Sandeng.
I remember you defected in Bakau.
In 2010, yes.
2010.
Yes.
President Jammeh's talk.
Yes.
I was there.
Yeah. To be honest with you, UDP never had the crowd, even in our days. We just ferry people.
When you say you ferry people,
we
how
take
do
people
you
from
do that?
all over and put them in a venue to make it look big. But the crowd was never there. Trust me. The crowd was never there. How many elections with President Jammeh? 4. Every time, limb. So, come on. It's the same that happened in 2021.
And then you said if you can't change the system.
If you can't beat the system, you
join the system. So now, but did you register foreigners in the 2021 presidential election?
We are going to do that at our own detriment. It can be very dangerous for our children in the future. You give them voters card, then you are giving them access to our national documents. No sane Gambian will go that low just because you need their votes. No, we did not register any foreigner.
The IEC did not do that?
Even during President Jammeh's time, they bring foreigners. Now President Adam Barrow, they bring foreigners. What does UDP want? What is their problem? We don't bring foreigners. Gambians are sick and tired of UDP. This is the fact. Gambians are tired of UDP. And you know, on our campaign, we used to tell them that the silent majority are going to kill your people. They don't understand. The silent majority are those people who doesn't involve in politics openly. They just sit home and then relax. They know where to vote. That is what gave us that number. People don't like UDP.
The silent majority.
The silent majority make President Barrow to win the election. A lot of people campaign with them, but they did not even vote for UDP. When you say crowd pooling, they are the best in doing that. Look, when they think they fill the stadium, the capacity of the stadium is around 30,000. We have over 960,000 registered voters. So should one celebrate the filling of a stadium? Absolutely not. It doesn't make sense. But when it comes to crowd competition, we are better than them. We can pull out more crowd than UDP can.
So what went wrong in terms of your campaign then in the parliamentary election?
Yeah. He's too powerful. When he blow you, if you don't mind, you die. But for him, it was just a soft one. The next one, I think he's going home. But yet still, he himself appointed Abdoulaye Bojang as ambassador to South Africa, up to the extent of insulting the whole Jola tribe. He said Bojang is the only true son of the land in Fonyi. That is an insult. No, Darboe has a problem. And I feel sorry for him because he's been sent to permanent retirement, which is Ardo. You know, President Barrow is too powerful. When he blow you, if you don't mind, you die. But for him, it was just a soft one. The next one, I think he's going home. So for Darboe, let's
Are you seeing him coming back in 2026?
No. We would like UDP to stay in the political arena. Otherwise, government politics will be very boring. That is a fact. But for Darboe to make a comeback, no. Let us not pray for that. The man is problematic. The man is full of problems. Honestly, Gambia will never produce a controversial politician like Hussein Darboe. He's controversial, he's inconsistent, he is problematic.
But how is Darboe controversial?
He's a flip-flopper. Darboe will say this thing today, tomorrow he'll say another thing. So he's very inconsistent, just like President Jammeh.
You are putting them in
They are parts of the same feather, they flock together. They are all the same.
You are saying, Ousman Rambo is saying, former President Jammeh
is inconsistent.
And Darboe
yes.
are birds of a feather.
Same feather.
They are all the same.
Yeah, in inconsistency.
In terms of inconsistency.
Yes, they are the same.
So
according to my believing. What I believe. That's what I believe.
So now let's also look at other matters. I know this is going to be very tricky for you. You are part of this government now, officially. And President Barrow is one man who wants to stick to his promise in terms of his political companions. We have seen that from 2016 to now. In the 2016 coalition, he gave all the coalition partners saw themselves in his government, and it would appear that that's the same exact thing that is happening with the appointment of Fabakary Tombong Jatta and other members of your party. Yet there is one very important priority: the issue of the investigation into the human rights violations and abuses of the former president, the TRRC. The report is before the president. That is supposed to be a white paper. And crimes have been committed in this country, and people got to pay for those crimes. You want the former president to come and live here peacefully. Fabakary Tombong Jatta wants the former president to come and live here peacefully. But all evidence point at him that he is the mastermind of all of these crimes.
Okay.
Do you believe, or is it your conviction and position and stance that the former president should pay for all these crimes?
Yeah, thank you, Lamin. You know, so far, President Jammeh is innocent until proven guilty. The Commission of Inquiry, or the TRRC, is not a court of law. It's a body set up to investigate crimes committed against people during President Jammeh's time. Most of them are mere allegations and hearsay, so they need to be proven in a court of law. I just wish that President Jammeh will be given the opportunity, former President Jammeh will be given the opportunity to come to a court of law and defend himself. Then if the court find him one thing, then he's guilty. But for now, he is very innocent until proven guilty.
The victims are angry. They are angry that you are in bed with the former president. They are angry that the speaker has been picked from your party. Do you have any sympathy for the victims. Clearly, people's loved ones have been murdered in this country. No one can deny that.
Yes, I mean, you're talking about two different things here. APRC government is there, and APRC political party is there. And so far, all those who have gone to the TRRC are not part of our political structure. So you cannot whip them. You cannot whip us with their whip. We are not directly responsible. Yes, our former president is the head of the country and so blah blah. Yes, but we cannot be blamed for it. And yes, we are still going to keep on pushing for him to be pardoned if found wanting by the Gambian people. Worse has happened in Rwanda. But today, Rwanda is the most advanced country in Africa. So sometimes we need to forgive, forget, and forge ahead.
But how about justice first before
forging
ahead?
I mean, I was also a victim under President Jammeh's rule. I was a victim. I was incarcerated in Mile 2 for 12 days in confinement without going to court. I disappeared from the surface of this earth for almost 387 days. But I'm not blaming anybody. It's the will of Allah. Lamin ko be wata jobo bayno. Ko do ya jaketa alal kerolom. Not all of them. Go through it and move on with your life. I should have been the first person to sit at the TRRC.
Yes, they did not pick you.
I declined. Because the way the commission itself was set up was a witch hunt. The way the process was done was witch hunting. I respect the initiation of the TRRC, but it was not done in a proper manner. An individual was targeted, and that is former President Jammeh. So this is why we lose all respect for the TRRC. But we feel sorry for the victims.
Sir Rambo, thank you for coming. I have run out of time, but hopefully we will be able to continue some other time. Thank you very much. By the way, do you want to be in President Barrow's cabinet, new cabinet?
That is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's Allah who appoints.
Thank you very much.
So I'll wait for Allah's appointment.
Thank you very much, Sir Rambo. Thank you.
Yes.
So that will be it for my show tonight. Thank you for being there. I will see you on Monday. Until then, goodbye.